Hey, what's going on, my friend? It's Jeff Newport from ChasingStrength.com. And in today's video, we are going to discuss what the top 2 to 3 kettlebell exercises are for your legs. All right, now let's dive in here. So here's what precipitated this video. Using that word precipitated a lot. Big words. All right, anyway, here's what prompted this video. The other day, I got an email from a gentleman asking how to build his legs with kettlebells. He wanted to know the top 2 or 3 exercises he could use to concentrate on aesthetics, making his legs look bigger, more ripped, more cut, that sort of thing, right? So for this video and for my response to him, we're going to assume that legs equals thighs or upper legs and not calves, lower legs, okay? So what we're talking about is hamstrings and quadriceps, okay? Now, this email and this video was kind of funny to me because this gentleman had bought some of my programs, but he admitted that he had never followed them as written because he, quote unquote, doesn't have the time and he had other interests, quote unquote. So other interests, right? Doesn't have the time. So when I was responding to him, I honestly didn't know where to start since most kettlebell programs, and certainly almost all of my kettlebell programs, work the legs. Okay. So let's just dive in here and get started. All right. So number one, if you're not doing any direct leg work, practically any kettlebell work will build your legs. All right. This really doesn't need much further explanation, does it? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So start there. If you're not doing direct leg work, start. Okay. Assuming this does not apply to you, let's move on. So point number two, we can break down leg training into 4 different categories. Okay. And that's what we're going to do in this video. All right. So number one, we have quad dominant. So that's the front of the thighs, front of the upper legs. Number 2 is hip dominant, the back of the legs. We call that the posterior chain or part of the posterior chain. Number 3 is bilateral. Okay. So that's 2 legs at a time. Number 4 is unilateral or 1 leg at a time. Okay. So let's take a closer look at each one of these categories. Number 1, quad dominant, front of the legs. We have the goblet squat, the single kettlebell front squat, the double kettlebell front squat, the hack squat, the pistol squat, holding a kettlebell, right? Obviously, since it's a leg exercise using kettlebells, just as an aside, you can do it without holding the kettlebell, and the push press. Number 2, we have hip dominant, or the back of the legs, the posterior chain, or at least part of the posterior chain. We have swings, snatches, cleans, the deadlift, the stiff leg deadlift, and the single leg deadlift in its variations. Number 3, bilateral. So 2 legs at a time. We have the goblet squat. We have the single kettlebell front squat, the double kettlebell front squat, the hack squat, and the push press. And then finally, category 4, unilateral or 1 leg at a time. We have the pistol squat, again, holding a kettlebell. We have a lunge, and we have single leg deadlift in its variations. All right. So point number 3 here is you have to find your weaknesses. And then you have to work with them while maintaining your strengths. Okay. This is arguably the lowest hanging fruit in any training program whatsoever. So here's some examples, like not having enough depth on your squat or not squatting off enough. Those are 2 that just pop right in my head right off the top there. Okay. So the reason I bring that up is modern kettlebell training is very heavy on the posterior chain, swings, etc., which is a great thing, but not really heavy enough on the anterior chain and full knee flexion. Okay. Here's what you do, right? If you find yourself in this category number 3, you want to regress your training, okay? And then you train the goblet squat and recapture your full range of motion if you haven't done that sort of thing in a while, all right? And what you'll find is that extra depth works your legs harder, which then provides new stimulation, and therefore you'll gain some new muscle mass and some new strength, okay? Or get stronger, however you want to say that, all right? So at the end of the day, what you're going to do is you're going to pick the exercise that you suck at, okay, or the exercises that you suck at, and you're going to do more of those. Yes, you will keep the exercises that you're good at in your program, but you're going to use what are called retaining loads, and that's just enough work to keep what you have, all right? So point number 4, you're going to train consistently. Okay, I shouldn't really have to say this, but I will because consistency is king, all right? You don't want to find yourself picking and choosing which exercises you're going to do from a program because you don't have the time. Okay. You're going to make the time and you're going to make the time consistently. Okay. And then you're going to start seeing results consistently. Okay. So if you want your legs to grow, to get stronger, more muscular, you've got to train them routinely or consistently. So that means a minimum of twice a week, preferably 3 times a week is best. Okay. And if you want to see some definition in them, well, you're going to have to consistently watch what you eat. So use what I call supportive nutrition. You can air quotes that, right? Supportive nutrition protocols instead of dieting to peel off the fat. and that will show the muscle definition that you're looking for. All right. Now, what are some good goals, some good benchmarks for you to obtain? Right. Well, here's some that I like to use that I found very helpful. Number one, for the goblet squat, plan on hitting half your body weight for 20 reps in a row unbroken. Okay. So 20 smooth reps, not 10 reps followed by 2 reps, rest pause, like then 3 reps, and then another 2 reps, and then another 3 reps for a total of 20. 20 smooth, controlled, unbroken reps with half your body weight. So if you weigh 100 kilos, you should be able to hold 50 kilos. Okay. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you should be able to hold 100 pounds, that sort of thing. Benchmark number 2, double kettlebell front squat. Use 2 by 32 kilos. All right. Work up to 5 sets of 10 or multiple sets of 20 if you're a masochist. Okay. Standard number 3, benchmark number 3 would be lunges. If you're going to do lunges, work up to half your body weight. Okay. Again, if you weigh 200 kilos, work up to half your body weight, which would be, did I say 200 kilos? Man, I hope you don't weigh 200 kilos. I meant 100 kilos or 200 pounds. Okay. So if you're 100 kilos, work up to 50 kilos, holding 50 kilos for 10 reps each leg. And if you're 200 pounds, work up to 100 pounds for 10 reps each leg. Okay. And, ultimately, it doesn't matter how you do it. There are different types of loading that makes it harder. Okay. We'll get into that some other time. And then benchmark number 4, is the single leg deadlift. And again, you're going to work up to half your body weight times 10 each leg. Okay. Now, if you can't do all of those yet, well, working toward them, it will make your legs significantly stronger and noticeably more muscular. And of course, feel free to add your own benchmarks in there and scale those up or down as needed for any form of intermediate or advanced steps. Okay. Now, hopefully this gives you some ideas to get started. And if you need a training plan with a heavy dose of legs, right, programmed into it so you can get stronger and more muscular legs, well, I'll leave 2 different links in the description below. One is for a single kettlebell program, and the other is for a double and single kettlebell program. All right. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, go ahead and click the like button and click the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. And if you found it really helpful, share it with a friend, family member, or multiple friends or family members. All right. Until next time, my friend, stay strong.